I think that people should come to see Othello because it's an opportunity to see a great cast in one of the best plays ever written in the English language in a really beautiful theatre. We have on our poster for this production a strapline which says "A Beautiful Love Destroyed," and in essence that is what this story is about. You know, it's about this beautiful love that has flowered between Othello and Desdemona, and the way in which that love is then systematically undermined and destroyed by the machinations of Iago. I think when we are asked, you know, to explain why it is that Shakespeare is so important today, you know, it's very hard to answer that question without sounding pretty pompous. But I think it's something to do with the richness of his language, the extraordinary control of the narrative structure, the amazing investment in the characters. Clearly, it's an experience that requires a certain degree of effort of the individual audience member, but my belief is that that no dramatist really repays that effort as much as Shakespeare does.
I think it tells a very powerful human story within it, how stored up resentments can lead to incredible sort of consequences. Resentments mainly coming from Iago, and how when it latches onto a very powerful imagination, then it can go madly crazy and horrors can happen. Othello, the character, is full of many contradictions, especially when things are going right. He's a soul sort of torn apart. You get the feeling about him that he's a guy who is much more at home in the feeling sense, in the feeling realm. His heart is big, is magnanimous. And in contrast, Iago, it appears, is a man of mind, of, you know, intricate mind, perhaps with perhaps there's a psychological condition there as well.
Iago is the one, he wreaks havoc, he's the reason for this destruction, and it starts very subtly. And I think it spirals out of control, and he's the puppet master, if you like.
He's clever at plotting, but he's very sort of exquisite in the way he does it. He plants something, and the other person creates by the force of his imagination on the innuendo, and comes to it's partly his escape clause. Well, I just said, as he says at the end of the play, I just said and left the rest up to him to devise of it what he will.
I'm enjoying seeing how quick of thinking he is, and how he's very quick-witted, and he's incredibly two-faced, but he's also a realist, and he sadly he says a lot of things that are true, which you kind of go, actually he's right when he talks about love. I mean, he's very cynical, he's very, as I say, bitter and resentful, because he doesn't have what other people have. And I think when he sees Othello and Desdemona and this kind of beautiful love that they have, he doesn't really have that. He resents everything that Othello is. He even makes people suffer after the event because he doesn't explain his actions. And people aren't quite sure why he does these things. I don't think he's quite sure about it.
So you've got these two people together, and as the poison, as he describes it himself, begins to filter over to Othello's ear, he is then more and more called upon to use the mind realm of his thing, but it's torn against his heart. And another disadvantage he has is that he is black, and that is at least not always a central motivation of the hatred, but I think that is part of it. You sense that his career is the reason he is accepted. In such a society where there is racism, there is a pressure on such a person to work extremely hard, to be almost sort of like single-minded in that profession. But there's certainly questions there.
I think jealousy is by far one of the most destructive emotions, and it's incredible about how the most innocent-looking thing will appear, and Iago uses that. It's like he's getting back at society in the same way that some serial killers do because they couldn't get a girlfriend at high school, and the way that Travis Bickle gets back at society in Taxi Driver.
The challenge that I face with this production is very much to try to offer appropriate support to the company as a whole, to ensure that we tell our story, tell Shakespeare's story in a credible and coherent way.
Well, why come and see Othello? Because I think it's a very good tale, for number one, because it's by Shakespeare, but that's supposed to be kind of counter-sacrilege now, isn't it? No, but I think he deals with the language quite well, and is worth a look in.
It's tragic. It's a real tragedy. What unfolds, what happens to this good man and woman, and also, it's a warning to us all.